superbly. Hi, Noddy. That's an interesting name. So, hi, Mandira. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks.
Of course, we know you're, working out and keeping fit. Other than that, is there anything that you've learned from this lockdown?
My gosh, I think this entire last couple of months is like a time for it's a time with yourself. It's time to spend time with the family. There's so much to learn. There's so much to do. There's so much you feel. I want to share one thing though. At the beginning of this lockdown, I was, I've been fine post, but the first 1 week, I was pretty down and out, and I was very anxious. And I'm a bit of a hypochondriac, and you know about that, Doc, because when you have hypochondriac tendencies, you believe that you have the symptoms, and those first couple of days when those messages, those forwards would be flying about these are what the symptoms are, these are the ones you have to look out for: breathlessness, cold, cough. I thought I had it all, and I worked myself up into such a frenzy that I actually went and got an asthma attack. And I've had asthma, but I've been free from asthma for the last years, but it came back because of this time and because of the information overload that comes to all of us. So the first 1 week went by with a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear, and I exercised every day, but at that point I needed something else more than the exercise to keep me going. I looked up yoga asanas which help with stress and anxiety and fear. I did a couple of those. I did a few meditations. And within 1 week, when somewhere I had made up, your mind is a very strong thing. If it can work yourself up to a point that you can imagine an attack, or you can feel an attack, you can also work yourself up into a state of strength and positivity. So post that 1 week, I've been fine, and I've been exercising, and I've been busy, and I've been keeping really, really occupied with things. I give myself a routine. I'm homeschooling my son. He's 8 years old. So there's a lot of work to be done. So my routine is such that I wake up in the morning. I alternate between my workout and my son's homeschooling. Lunch every day is at 2 o'clock. Then we finish homeschooling about 3 o'clock or so. Then I have a little bit of time to myself where I'm doing a lot of webinars myself, and I'm doing a lot of events. Those generally happen post 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And then in the evening, I take my son for a walk. We live in a standalone house, so in our house only, not leaving the house, not leaving the building, because he's so active in school over here. He's in front of a screen, in front of his books, in front of his schoolwork, so he doesn't get to exercise. The evening is a little bit of a half an hour walk, and then 7:30 is dinner, and that's our routine for the day.
So I love the 3D idea that you came up with, and I know many mothers must have appreciated that whole creation of a 3D world. How did you come about that idea? And it looks so interesting.
Well, school is a very, he's in a lovely school which has some really interesting work that is asked of him, and he had to create in art. He had to create a 3D world. So he'd done some still life for one particular project. Then he did something with shapes for a second project. The third project was a 3D world, standing upwards. So all recycled stuff. I'm also in the process of cleaning up the house. A lot of people are doing that, right? Opening cupboards that have not been touched, not been used, not been that for years. So I've opened cupboards and I cleaned up his entire room. Now his room has no extra toys. I found stuff from when he was a baby. It's still lying with me, and he's old now. So I've taken a whole lot of stuff out for friends of mine who have little babies and stuff. But with recycled boxes and with an old recycled cushion. In one box, I put a cushion, we painted it brown. Then I took these old boxes and made palm trees out of them. And then there was this other box that a friend of mine had given me, which had some folders in it, which was slanting. I put another piece of paper on it and made some windows. And he's very good at drawing Sonic and those characters. So he drew through 3 characters, and we kind of made a beach, like the ocean, the beach, and a building. and
That looked so awesome. I saw the post. It just looked so good. I mean, and that's a great thing, even for a little older kids. Like my son is 13. I think I'm going to create one of these 3D models with him, given his thought process. And, you know, it's amazing.
We all have so much stuff lying around. There's not one thing that I bought for it. I can tell you what each thing was made out of. It was made out of all recycled stuff. The insides of boxes, you know, we keep getting boxes with like food stuffs in it and gift boxes that come. I don't throw them away because Veer is very creative by himself. He's always creating something. But I knew that for a couple of projects, at least till school is on, we're going to need these boxes. So I'm glad I didn't throw them away.
Perfect use of the boxes, you know, good recycling and upcycling. So definitely, I mean, that's a great takeaway from, you know, this whole, and I think it also gives us a creative outlet, so to say, because all of us have that little child in us, and during this time,
something. Don't go anywhere, right here.
Right here.
So the other day, because my son, you know, we're both learning. He's learning Hindi on this app called Duolingo, and I'm learning Spanish on that app. And there's a little owl, which he and I both love. And so I created it. I made it.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Yes.
It is so cute. Wow. I mean, that is really
I stitched it from an old t-shirt. He had a green colored t-shirt. I don't know whether you can see the colors very clearly.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, he had a green t-shirt, which has gotten small for him. So I cut it, and I took a sui dhaga after a really long time, and I this fabric, and I stuffed it with. And we didn't have cotton wool. I didn't have enough cotton wool for stuffing, so I took that waste fabric and cut it into little strips for the stuffing. Every over here, I stitched it start to finish. And I made this.
So you know what, Mandira, this is a great video that has not, it will be a completely novel kind of a video, because we've seen recipes, we've seen workout videos, we've seen yoga, we've seen, you know, everything, but making a stuffed toy from old t-shirt, I mean, that is definitely going to break the internet. So you should create a lot more soft toys. It's so interesting.
I didn't think I could do it, and I'm telling you, I'm not much of a seamstress. I don't sit with a sui dhaga ever, but I make something and he sleeps with it at night. He's like, I love Duo. Let me have, where's Duo? And I'm like, wow.
That is fabulous. Now, coming to your physical fitness part, when did the journey start? Because, you know, everybody remembers you from the Shanti days with the beautiful curly hair and, you know, a cute look that you had that time. From that to the goddess that you are now, who's the epitome of fitness, and you are such an inspiration to everybody. When and how did the journey start? Was it a particular incident? Because most of the time what happens is when there is a turnover, there is typically an incident which triggers that. So was there any incident that happened in your life?
Well, you remember your journey. You were a part of Khatro Ke Khiladi.
Yes.
Remember Khiladi, which you won? Right? Yes. So I was in the season after that, the next season. Yeah. And I remember when I was very keen to be. I wanted to be a part of the first season, but I was busy with another shoot at that time, so I couldn't be a part of it. So before the season started, I called up the production house and said, I want to be a part of Khatro Ke Khiladi. But once I signed on with the show, I said, okay, you know what? I have 1 month now before I leave for South Africa. So I want to be a strong contender in the show, and I want to, you know, I want to be fit. And besides, you know, they make you wear shorts and they make you wear
everything. Yeah.
I said, I'm going to be on national television. I want to look nice, at least while I'm participating, and I want to be a strong contender. So that was the only time I ever got myself a trainer, and I started training with the trainer. And it was just that one period of 1 month. I didn't win the fear factor, but the gift that Khatro Ke Khiladi gave me was that of fitness, because that was my turning point. I got into fitness because of that. I was in South Africa after a day of, you know, you remember the days used to be so long. You had 2 stunts per day. That's how it used to be, right? Yeah. At the end, 2 stunts per day, I would come home and go for a 30-minute run, because exercise and fitness had become such an important part of my life.
Oh, wow.
Then I'm saying even after that, I had Veer, and I put on 22 kilos during my pregnancy. But I lost those 22 kilos in exactly 6 months to the day. Because fitness, I decided I'm not going to keep this weight on any longer than it needs to be. And after those 40 days, I got into some serious exercise and I lost the weight. So fitness has been a part of my life since 2008, because that's when I did Fear Factor. And it's, some people call it addiction. I just think that once you make it a way of your life, then it's there to stay. Then no matter what, and no matter how busy you are, you can always find time to exercise.
Yeah. So I have a very interesting point over here to make, and this is, when one calls something an addiction, it also could be passion. It also could be a habit. And any good habit, or if you're passionate about something, then if it is an addiction, only then can you excel, isn't it? If you're not passionate about something, if you're not crazy about something, you will never be able to succeed. So, when people say, oh, you are addicted, for example, where I'm concerned, I love study. Like, I keep giving these exams and I'm upgrading myself I'm doing my second master's in psychology from Harvard. So I just finished an exam, and so, and I am addicted to it. I realize it, but you know what?
I'm addicted to studies. I don't know any other human being. You are an example in itself, I have to say.
I love study, and my kids say that, Mama, how about giving our exam? Why do you want to give your own? And I'm like, dude, that's your journey. You got to complete it. So that's what I say. Okay, I'm addicted to it, but it's a good thing. I mean, if I'm upgrading myself, if I'm giving brain food to my brain, why not? And one thing which I will share with you is, the leg asana which you did, I went and tried it and I failed miserably.
Which asana?
the leg raise thing that you did, just the latest post that you had posted. Yeah. Oh man, I had to support my back. I can do Sarvangasana, but I will get there one day. So what is that one thing which you've, in this 50 days now, I think we are in a lockdown for 50.
I started lockdown, by the way, on the 15th of March. So for me, aaj kya hai? 15th of May. So it's been exactly 2 days.
So what is that one achievement that you bridged the gap? So we all have set goals, right? That okay, this is my next goal where my physical well-being is concerned. What is it that you've achieved in these 60 days?
Well, I don't know whether I can pinpoint one thing like that, but there are a couple of things that I wanted to improve in my life. One is I wanted to get back into the kitchen and start cooking. So fortunately, I have help. So everyday food is being cooked, but I now, every now and then, want to cook for my husband and my son, and I go in and I cook up a storm. So I've gotten back into the kitchen. That is one thing. As far as my physical fitness is concerned, I wanted to do good handstands. So just they say, when you're consistent with something. So I'm not looking at giving myself a target on this day. I want to be standing for 10 seconds or 20 seconds. Every day I just do 10 handstands. I do 10 handstands and I find them easier and better as the days go by. So
I saw the t-shirt challenge which you took up where you go 2. I'm like, okay, here we are having difficulty wearing 1, and Mandy's gone ahead and worn 2 t-shirts. And also I loved your...
That's not a handstand. That I was just taking a rest up there with my legs up. Proper handstand, standing on the hand and flipping up. So those
I'll call it a handstand.
challenges I'm giving myself. That's all I'm doing. And I've also decided to get into art. I don't know whether you can see.
I saw the picture. It looked very nice.
So whatever my son is doing, I get inspired by that. My son is very, very artistic, and if I have to ask him to do anything for his art, anything, that his drawing is really something else. So whenever he gets down to drawing, I feel inspired to do something. So while tidying up his room, I realized that there were a lot of canvases, old canvases that I bought, and are lying chota canvases. So one I give him, one I work on, and we both work on stuff together. So I'd given no time to myself in this last little while, because I was running, traveling, and a part of the reason why I felt I had that asthma attack was because and why I started my lockdown early was between March 1 and March 9, I had taken 8 flights, and of which 2 of them were to Australia. So I was
my God.
For it, I have been in so many flights and so many airports. I'm in trouble because that was the time when you were only catching it from airports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So my travel had become so much that I've got this time to breathe. I've got this time to evaluate. I've got this time to see where I want to put more energy and time. I started off hating homeschooling, and now with my son, and now that my husband is sharing a little bit of the responsibility, I'm enjoying it because I'm discovering new stuff about Veer. The stuff I really did not know that he could create or do or be capable of, which I'm seeing in this time. So in every aspect of my life, there's something new that has happened. I'm learning Spanish as well, which I never thought I would do. I never thought I would learn a new language, and certainly not Spanish. But again, whatever the motivation to get into it, I started watching Money Heist on Netflix, and I said, what a cool show this is. And then
I loved it. I'm obsessed with it. I just love Bella Ciao, and I love the title track. I love Money Heist. I'm waiting for the next season to come. So I binge watched it, thankfully, way before my exam time was up. So, I completed it way before. So, yeah, that's a good way. Anyway, Spanish is one of the most, I think it is the common language, right, in the world?
Language in the world.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good skill to acquire. That is good. Now, coming back to Mandira as an individual, you've always been really motivated. You've been a go-getter. You've achieved so much. You've worn so many feathers in your cap. Where does that motivation come from? Are you inherently like this? As in, if you go back to your childhood days, were you always this person, or has it developed over a period of time?
So you are doing your second master's in psychology, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So then you will know exactly what I'm talking about, because my entire level of motivation or need to do well or succeed or prove myself comes from the fact that I always had an overachieving brother. Yes. So because my brother was this overachiever, and because he did so exceedingly well in everything that he did. He went to IIM Ahmedabad and studied over there. So I was always left trying really hard to prove myself to my parents. And I think improving yourself, it's all right. You should start loving yourself. Things like that have only come into my life later on in life, because I've grown up thinking I really need to prove myself. So that's where I suppose that's where it comes from. That's where my motivation levels and need and desire and drive, to do stuff comes from.
Mm-hmm. And then how was the transition from being an actor to hosting cricket? I mean, that was completely a trend-setting path that you took, because at that time there was no girl or a woman who used to host.
Yeah, well, it was not like I planned the transition or ever thought that I wanted to get down that path. I was doing some daily soaps, and I was enjoying them. I played a negative woman, a negative character, and Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi. I played lots of positive characters. And then I was just, in 2002, there was this one particular tournament where India beat England to make it to the semi-finals of the world of that particular tournament, the Champions Trophy. And I just went to Sri Lanka to go and watch it because I have a lot of friends there and I enjoy cricket. And people from Sony saw me there, and it was a case of time. So they kind of they asked me to come in for an audition. And one audition led to 3 auditions, and that's how the cricket started, basically. I didn't plan for it. I just wanted acceptance. I just wanted to be accepted in that domain. It's a very, very male-dominated domain, a very male-dominated space. And that's how the cricket happened. And I've done 3 World Cups and 3 Champions Trophies and 2 IPLs. And even now I get calls from news channels to be a part of, their cricket coverage. But I just feel that if you're not doing it with a host broadcaster, doing it on a news channel is people aren't really watching. They don't get onto a match and watch a match and then go to the news channel to see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's pointless doing something or working on something that people aren't really watching. So I say no to news channels only for that.
And you've done various roles. Like you said, you've even done a negative role. What is it about the role that gets you to choose or say yes to? Like, okay, this is something that I, want to play, or I want to be part of this. What is it that you choose?
With films, with television, I mean, I like positive, strong roles. I enjoy, I played a very nice character in 24, the Indian version of 24, the first season. That was one of my favorite characters that I've played, possibly after Shanti, because I got to play a character called Nina Myers, who was in the original, she was called Nina Myers.
Yeah.
So I loved that. I mean, for me, that was a dream role, and I got to play it in the Indian version of it. But I have played a few negative roles, and Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, it was the antithesis to the main character's role. So I enjoyed it up to a certain point, and then sometimes what happens is one gets caught in stereotypes, and very often on television negative characters are shown in a stereotypical fashion. So you can enjoy it up to a certain point, and then when you find yourself doing certain things that don't connect with your sensibility, so I quit Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, saying I can't do this anymore because it doesn't relate to my sensibility. But my character carried on for a few years till the show, till the end of the show, I think. And recently I played a negative character in a movie called Saho, which is like one of these full-on action blockbusters with Prabhas, and it was a bilingual film. And for me, when I pick a role, it's got to be, the character should have something that contributes, something major that contributes to the storyline. And in this film, my character contributed very majorly to the storyline, which is why I did it, and I really enjoyed it. I played this lawyer, negative character, lawyer who wears beautiful khadi sarees and silver jewelry, and she is nasty.
And now let's come to a field which is completely different from who you are. I know you're really creative, so I get that. But coming to designing of saris, I mean, that is completely a different aspect of a personality which you delved into. How did that come about?
Well, again, things happen sometimes, in a divine way. This thing of right place at the right time. Sometimes it just happens. So during all the cricket, I was wearing saris. I was wearing saris throughout. And so I just generally became associated with the sari. So every time when I came back after finishing the cricket, and even when I was in hosting shows on GECs, on general entertainment, people would ask, they wouldn't say wear a gown, they'd say wear a sari. People expected me to wear saris. When I hosted corporate events, people expected me to wear saris. I just became connected with the sari. And one Diwali, I kind of went to a fabric store, bought a couple of fabrics, went to a tailor and said, do this, do that, do the other. And I created 4 or 5 saris, which I wore during that particular season of Diwali. And a lot of people came up to me and said, who are you wearing? We love your sari. Who are you wearing? So I said, I'm wearing me. And I think that's where the germ of the idea came from. And then I just participated in a few exhibitions. That's when the market was great. And, I'd be a part of an exhibition with like 75 saris or 100 saris, and 60 would sell. The market, of course, has changed massively over the years. And now with this pandemic and this lockdown, it'll be a while before luxury and before, designer clothes find their feet again and find takers,
But I guess saris are always, saris will always have its market because, being in the country that we are, I think that shouldn't be affected.
But there's also one thing to be said, which I've learned after becoming after designing, is that there are sari people and non-sari people. Like some people love saris and can wear a sari and can dance in a sari and can go to a party in a sari and hold a wine glass in a sari. But there's some people who are not sari people, come what may. They have to call a sari draper to get into to get into their sari, and they want to be pinned up everywhere, and there's no movement.
Yeah, they want to be safe.
Yeah. So there's sari people and non-sari people. That's what I've realized. And when you're a non-sari person, you'd like to wear other silhouettes like a salwar kameez, or the crop top and the long skirt and the lehengas and those kind of. If you're a sari person, then you can wear like any kind of sari, and you can wear it to any kind of occasion. So that's what I'm also
My mother
discovering.
sleeps in a sari. Can you imagine? I have no idea how she does it.
What?
She even sleeps in it. I mean, she's the sari person as sari person can be. There's nothing else that she wears. So yeah, we have many of this. That's what I'm saying. I don't think sari market will be as affected. Of course, I mean the categories will differ. One will not kind of spend that much on luxury items. Or a lot more expensive pieces for sure. But regular, I think, should be all right. So, what is it that one thing, if I ask you, that you learned from the lockdown for yourself?
There's one thing I believe in, and there's one thing that rules my life, and that is gratitude. And every single morning, I know everybody's having a different kind of lockdown. For some people it's dire, for some people it's difficult, for some people I know it's about making ends meet and things like that. Everybody's having a different journey. But my journey, and I say this with humility, and I say this with utmost humility, I wake up every morning and before I open my eyes, I say thank you. I say thank you that I woke up this morning. Thank you that I have a roof over my head. And thank you that I have food on my table. And something, I've always been a very grateful person. I believe in gratitude. Gratitude is one of my, it's a way, it rules my life actually. But over this lockdown, I've felt more grateful for the smaller things. And what this lockdown has taught me, and I hope it stays with me forever, is to take nothing for granted. Because all the things that we took for granted have been taken away from us. A lot of things that we've taken for granted have been taken away. Just stepping out of the house is something we took for granted. That's been taken away from us.
Now it's a luxury.
Oh, I'm working too much. Oh, I'm traveling too much. Oh, I've got too much of this or too much of that. I'm just saying these are the things we're missing right now. It's very, very important. And this is the one thing I'm hoping that stays with me, and I remember for the rest of my life post this lockdown, is to take nothing, not even the smallest thing, for granted. Take nothing for granted. Be grateful for everything.
Superb. That is excellent. And would this message be the message that you want to get people also to practice it?
For a lot of people, they say, how do we get this? There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of fear. And the only message that I can give people and tell people, and I've been telling a lot of people this, I've also been in this business of entertainment for 25 years. And in these 25 years, I've noticed there have been a lot of ups and there have been a lot of downs. And the ups are passing and the downs are passing. This too shall pass and this too shall pass.
Absolutely.
Which is what's keeping me going, saying this can't be the permanent state of being. There is going to be a new normal, of course. But what we are feeling right now, what we're going through right now, a lockdown like this, cuffs, this too shall pass. This will pass. This is not the permanent state of being. So my message would be, just take one day at a time. Give yourself a routine for the day. Write it down or keep it in your head. And it's better if you write it down. And when you write it down and tick it off, it gives you a sense of accomplishment, because people say, we're sitting around at home, we're feeling worthless, we're feeling useless. But if you give yourself a routine, whatever that routine may be it cleaning a cupboard, be it cooking something, be it, cleaning your house, be it whatever it may be, give yourself a routine, make that routine, give that to-do list a tick every time you complete something. It gives you a sense of, achievement. It gives you a sense of accomplishment. It helps you get through the day, and just take every day, one day at a time. Just know that this too shall pass. This is my message. And be grateful. Really be grateful for the small things. If there's food on your table and if you have shelter, a lot of people don't have that right now. So be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for the things that are going right in your life.
That is perfectly said, because, gratitude is also one of the highest vibrations that human beings can be in. And to cultivate gratitude, it's not very difficult. All you have to do is to look around you. And why even look around? The fact that we are breathing, one can be grateful for that.
Of
right?
course. So, do you know something? One of the things that I recently wrote a book, and I've written a very big fat chapter on gratitude. Because gratitude is like it's looking at life through the lens of gratitude. There's one thing I read maybe about 7-8 years ago, but I've only now started really believing it. Is and stayed with me forever. And whenever I'm down and out, I think of this line, that wherever there is gratitude, wherever there is true gratitude and you're feeling truly grateful, wherever there is gratitude, there is no room for unhappiness. You cannot be grateful and unhappy at the same time, grateful and negative at the same time, grateful and angry at the same time. When you're feeling truly grateful for something, you can't be any of these negative traits. You can't feel any of these negative emotions. So this is a good way to get by times like this. Just be grateful for everyone has something to be grateful for. If you, I keep a gratitude journal, but even if you before going to sleep or when you wake up first thing in the morning, think of the things you're grateful for. It sets the tone for the day.
Absolutely. I completely 100% agree with you. And Mandira, thank you so much for coming on Dr. A Talks. God bless you. Keep smiling, keep glowing, and keep that fitness going, because we all are inspired because of you. And I'm coming after the lockdown is over to enjoy the Italian risotto khichdi which you made. That was very delicious.
Thank
was
you,
really
Dr.
nice.
A. Thank you. It's so wonderful what you're doing. This lovely platform, these lovely chats with all your friends and all the people who you know who are positive. You're giving a lot of people positivity and hope, and that's a wonderful thing that you're doing at a time like this. God bless you. It was lovely to see you.
Lots of love to Veer. My regards to Raj.
Thank you. Take care, Aditi.
Bye.